Hey everyone, it's lukemick here. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to my last video of the year 2021. It was an enormous year for the channel in terms of growth and content. 35 videos posted in the year 2021, 36 if you count this one. And let me just say, we're aiming for 70 for 2022. Just kidding, that's a complete joke. There is no way that I would ever, that's just not sustainable. I just can't do that. So what are we doing in this video? Well, first of all, this is going to be
extra chill,
extra laid back. I filmed this video like 2 nights ago after a long, arduous day at work, and it turns out that the screen capture footage did not record properly. It recorded a bunch of BS, black screen. So that footage is basically shot, and I'm not too mad about it because I don't know. I'm feeling really chill today, and I'm just not going to get angry about things like that. So I'm going to redo this video, and you know what this video is because you clicked on the video. You saw the thumbnail and the title. I am going to be ranking tier list style all of the films that I saw which were released in the year 2021. Which is very exciting. I said in my recent update video that I wanted to do tier lists and try them out, and Nancy and I were talking last week about year-end videos, and I didn't really have anything planned, and then I sort of thought, well, why don't I just do a tier list year-end type video? That way I don't have to whittle it down to like 10 favorite films. I can just, give myself the enjoyment and give you all of you the enjoyment and entertainment of puking out my brain onto this tier list and just really getting a nice visual as to, how I responded to the films that I saw this year in theaters and otherwise. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be. We're treating it like a live stream because I did intend to edit the video that was the same thing as this that I filmed 2 days ago. But at this point, it's the 30th, and I am not going to have any time to edit all this stuff. And I don't know, I'm excited to just like throw out a video like this where I can just talk and chill with all of you. So I hope you're all down for that as well. If not, to each his own. But that's what this video is going to be. And please do leave comments below of your favorite films of the year, things that really stood out to you. And if there are any films missing from my tier ranking here, let me know if there are films that I missed that I should have checked out, because I'm going to jump into a couple of disclaimers here. First disclaimer is I did not see every film that I knew of and wanted to see in the year 2021. There's a whole list of films that I haven't gotten around to watching yet, whether that be I just haven't had the time or they didn't come to theaters around me. So just know that I didn't see every single film I wanted to this year. 2, there are quite a few films in this tier listing that I saw at the Sundance Film Festival at the beginning of the year in February, and I did my best to sort of weed out and filter out the ones that didn't come out to wider audiences this year. Like, there were a couple of films I saw that only played at like Sundance and then a couple of other festivals and haven't really been available to the general public yet. So I took those films out. And there are also a couple of films from technically the year 2020 that played at like a couple of festivals and then COVID hit. And then they never got their wider, more public, accessible releases until this year, 2021. So there are a couple of films like that. And yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to go over before we start. So let's do this tier list ranking. Once again, this is my second time doing it this week, and I don't know, I'm looking forward to doing it again because I get a chance to re-talk about films that I either loved or hated in the year 2021. So let us begin. And the normal thing to do, I think, would be to pick from, the first one here in the top left corner, but I could pick something from the middle or the end or something, but I'm not going to. We'll just go in normal order because I don't want to complicate matters more, and my mouse is moving strangely without me touching it. It's kind of weird. It is a wired mouse, so the wire may have been caught on something. Okay, we're already wasting plenty of time, but that's the way this video is intended to be. If it turns out to be 2 hours long, so be it. I don't think it'll be that long. I hope not. I think my camera will die if I have it recording that long. But yeah, we should probably just begin though. Censor, film I caught at Sundance, streaming, of course. It's now been released through Vinegar Syndrome Pictures, so there's a nice Blu-ray package out there. And this is going into the B tier. I reviewed it on the channel in February or sometime in the beginning of the year. You can check that video out. Pretty cool homage to Video Nasty's 80s horror, and yeah, it's a good film. Halloween Kills. This one I'm gonna put in the A tier. Now, hear me out. I know this is a really I don't know, controversial way to start this video out, putting Halloween Kills in the A tier, but I saw this in Dolby, AMC Theaters Dolby, and every stab, every slash, every knife just made my chair shake. And I had so much fun with the kills in this movie. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. Honestly, it's what I was expecting it to be, and it's what I wanted it to be. Halloween 2018, I liked, but I only watched it the one time in theaters and never went back and didn't remember much about it, honestly. But this film was what I wanted. Michael Myers went around killing people. It's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of other dumb townsfolk, Haddonfield, like neighborhood watch, you know, people fighting against Michael Myers and trying to track him down. There's this big subplot. It's basically the main plot, I guess. That's kind of dumb, but I was able to get on board with it and just, I don't know, feel engaged with it. And I actually saw this film twice in theaters because I wanted to see it in Dolby twice because I had so much fun with it. Just really a fun time. I'm putting it in A tier mostly because of the theater experience. The film itself is fine. I wouldn't say it's an amazing film at all, but it's exactly what I wanted it to be, so it's going into the A tier. And also, I don't know if I should be telling you all this. Sadly, I don't have a picture, but when I filmed my Kino Lorber Vamp Luke video for Halloween October season, I, for whatever reason, I was like, yeah, I don't want to take my costume off. So I actually wore my vampire makeup, cap, and gown, everything, to Halloween Kills on like a Sunday afternoon. And I didn't tell my friends that, and they were pretty surprised, to say the least. So yeah, Halloween Kills. Just, I don't know. There's more I could say about it, but I'm already talking way too much about it. So let's move on. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. C tier. I like that it's short. It's super brief. Woody Harrelson was a lot of fun. Tom Hardy and Venom have like a charisma together, I guess, but it's, I don't know, the humor, the movie didn't really make me laugh. I just don't find the humor of these Venom movies to be, you know, my cup of tea. I haven't seen the first one from start to finish. I've watched like half of it on HBO in random increments. So I felt like I had a good enough idea as to what this was going to be like going into it. And it was fine. It was harmless. There were some parts that were fun. It was pretty dumb. Just really, like, really passive. I don't know. It was whatever. Pig with Nicolas Cage. This was an earlier one that came out this year. And it's a film that really subverts expectations. And I think it does that in a really great way. Now, I'm someone who would not consider myself to be a foodie. I mean, I like food, as everyone probably does, but I'm not like I'm kind of not a picky eater, but a particular eater. This film is about food, and I'm trying to segue this into, is that even the right word? Segue? That's the thing that Job rides around. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I appreciate movies where central themes are surrounding food and how food unifies humanity and how it just brings people together and just the beauty of sharing a delicacy or sharing a meal. And Pig is a film that does all of that while also being a really great vehicle for Nicolas Cage to give us a great dramatic performance. And I'm going to put it in A tier. I really liked Pig quite a bit, and I would suggest checking it out. It's probably not what you would expect it to be if you've heard just small rumblings about the film. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I don't remember how many rings he has. Is it 7? Is it 6? I think it's 10. I actually don't remember. This is a Marvel film. I think it was the second one to come out this year. And I loved it. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought that the action was breathtaking and super exciting. The story, I won't say much about the story. The characters are characters that I'm just excited to see where they go next. I thought everyone was just fun. The lead's performance, I don't remember his name right now, is good. I'm excited to see him in more Marvel projects. I think his acting could become more confident and just better as he goes along and just grows into this role, because he hasn't really been in many feature films other than this. So his acting was a little bit weak compared to most of the others. Tony Leung, though, was amazing as the villain and father of Shang-Chi in this film. He has a couple of scenes in particular that are just so hard. If you've seen the film, the scene where he walks into the sort of gambling hall, that scene, the way that's shot and the intensity in his performance was just amazing. Not a perfect film, but probably my favorite MCU movie of the year. I had a lot of fun with it. There's some bad green screen, but I really liked it, and I'd love to watch it again, so I'm going to put it in an A tier. The Blazing World. This was a film that I saw at Sundance. It was like a sort of Alice in Wonderland film. From a design standpoint, it's pretty cool. Like, the sets are really awesome, and it's a very dreamlike film. Costuming is pretty good too. As far as the story, characters, and thematic elements go, everything was just really, it was way too on the nose. The things that it was trying to tell its audience, I just felt were all too clear and just it lacked subtlety. I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's a really messy movie in ways, but I think from a design standpoint, it's really interesting. And I wasn't bored by it. I enjoyed watching it. I just didn't think it left me with much by the end. So, Blazing World in C tier. I'm gonna take a sip of water here. Also, my camera only records in like 20-minute increments. It's a little frustrating. I think it might be like a memory card storage issue. I don't really know. So I'm going to have to cut this a couple times. And at the rate I'm going, I'm going to have to cut several times because we still have a lot of movies to go. And I'm almost like not running out of breath, but it's just like talking consistently like this for prolonged periods of time is not always easy. But I will push on, and let me make sure this is actually recording, because that was the issue, is that it was just recording black screen, and it looks like it's fine. Okay, In the Heights. This was a musical that was supposed to come out in 2020, and I thought the trailer made it look atrocious, but when I watched it, I actually enjoyed the film a lot more than I thought I would. There's a different musical that came out this year that I like more, that I think does things better than this one does. I think if I were to watch this again, I don't think I would like it as much. It's long, and yeah, I'm going to put it in C tier. I'm not going to go on a whole tangent about In the Heights, because I really don't have much to say. Like, it was a movie that I didn't think I was going to like, but I actually found quite a few moments to really enjoy and appreciate about it. Come On, Come On, Joaquin Phoenix, and also co-starring a young child actor who is very talented in this film, directed by Mike Mills. I'm going to put this in B tier. It's a film that I think as I grow older, I might appreciate more. I did like the sort of lessons and themes of parenting and fear of forgetting and losing your great memories. And it's an interesting film. I thought that it's kind of ran itself thin a little bit. I wasn't like completely gripped and entertained by it when I saw it, but it is a good film, and it's one that I will be watching at some point later in time. Cruella. Cruella was, at the time when I saw it, I'm not a big fan of I'm really not a big fan of Disney films in general, at least their output for the last 10 years, 50, I don't even know. I feel so out of the loop. And as far as the live action remakes, I'll call them remakes, go for the Disney movies, I haven't liked any of them. When I saw this, I thought, I guess that's the one I liked the most out of all of them. I would say that I enjoyed the film and I saw some positives in it, but upon just sitting with it all year and seeing advertisements pop up from time to time, I just can't help but feel annoyed by it. The use of the the soundtrack music was so excessive, and there was always some pop song or famous song bleeding into every scene, and it was just super obnoxious. CGI Dalmatians looked horrible. And it's just a fucking long movie. It could have been an hour 45, but I think it's more like 2 hours 15. Way too long, completely excessive, and it's gonna end up in D tier because the thought of actually having to watch this film again just does not sound appealing to me at all. I enjoyed it in theaters, but I just don't think I'd watch it again, in all honesty, unless I was forced to, unless someone was gonna pay me like $20 to do it. I'd watch it for like $20. That's such. I don't think I've ever said anything like that in my life. All right, I'm gonna take another water sip here and catch my breath. How are you all doing? What do you think of this list so far? Good, bad, so-so? Well, why don't you wait to judge until after I've put in Candyman, which is going into the B tier. I'm a big fan of the 1992 Candyman film. Haven't seen the sequels besides this one, which is technically a reboot sequel. Yeah, I enjoyed this film. I think the score was, like, Philip Glass's score for the original film is kind of unbeatable, but this I felt like was a great way to sort of use elements of that film's score and turn it into something new and a little bit different. And the cinematography and look of this film mixed with the music, I thought was fantastic. It was a super well shot and well sound mixed film, I think. And I liked where the story went too. The ending is a little it's a little on the nose, but I enjoyed this film overall. Good horror reboot, better than most, I think. Antlers is another horror film from the year, and it's directed by Scott Cooper, who is known for directing more, I don't know, like harrowing, dramatic films like Black Mass and like Crazy Heart, which I actually haven't seen. Out of the Furnace, I've liked the films of his that I've seen before. This, however, I did not like. I was surprised that he was doing a horror movie, and this film tries to mix elements of horror with like legitimate, dramatic, serious themes, and many horror films do that very well. Like a random example, The Babadook. But this film fell flat for me. Horror tropes galore, unlikable lead characters, and just I don't know, just too surface level and just really frustrating. And my theater experience was really bad too. I won't get into it. I mean, no one was loud, but there was a big issue with the screen, and like 5% of the screen was like white the entire time. So the film I think is bad. It wasn't the theater experience that ruined it. The film itself I just don't think is very good. So I'm going to put it in D tier. And we are reaching the 20-minute mark, so I am going to stop recording and reset this, and hopefully I don't lose any of this footage in post. Fingers crossed. Okay, and we're back. Truly, I am more worried about my camera battery dying than anything. But we're still gonna take this slow and just relax because it feels really good right now to just to be chill. So I hope the camera doesn't die. That would be an issue if it does, but well, if it does, it does. We'll just do the rest of the video with audio only. I'm just kidding. I would charge the camera and pick up where I left off. Dune. Huge movie. Hugely anticipated. I watched David Lynch's Dune for the first time before seeing this film just so I could get an idea as to what the film was going to be like and just get a feel for the characters. And this film was really good. On a technical level and from a narrative standpoint and character development standpoint. It's not going in S tier. I had it up there for a little bit. I like the film a lot. I'm interested in the second part, but I'm not like clamoring for it. I don't have this like deep love for it. I really liked it. There's not too much I could complain about with it. But it is just going to go in B tier just because I don't feel as like strongly about it as I do with these other 3 films in the A tier. This is a weird these just looking at these A tier films right now side by side looks really weird to me, but I really liked them. So yeah, Dune is going into the B tier. Good stuff. Excited for the sequel or second part, I guess I should say. And yeah, West Side Story, Steven Spielberg. I think I just wrote a review for this one on Letterboxd. If you're watching this right now and you like my takes, check out my Letterboxd in the link below. I have an Instagram as well that I don't use as frequently as Letterboxd, but if you're interested in keeping up with other random stuff I'm doing outside of YouTube, you can check that stuff out. West Side Story, though, better than In the Heights, so I'm going to put it in B tier. So I am putting In the Heights in the C tier because of how much more I think West Side Story is a better film, because I think it's a better film. I started that sentence off wrong. West Side Story, I think, is a better film than In the Heights, but West Side Story I wouldn't put into A tier, so by default, In the Heights has to go to C tier. West Side Story, I had never seen the original, and what can I say about this film? I thought it was really enjoyable. I liked how gritty it actually was. I was not expecting that. Everyone in this movie turns out to be kind of like a sociopath. Everyone acts really crazy. Emotions are high, tensions are high, and it's a musical. It's like a stage play sort of thing. And the way that I usually, assume those things play out is that everything is extremely dramatized. Everything is heightened, and that's definitely the way things are in this film. But as far as Spielberg pictures go, I think it's one of the best movies he's made in a long time. I thought that so many of the leads, like I thought the entire cast was really strong. And I just enjoyed it. There was maybe a scene or two I'd cut out. Like In the Heights, it's very long. I wish it were just a tad shorter, but I think it tells a really like enjoyable and sort of an interesting story. It's like Romeo and Juliet. That's a tale that I think a lot of people can be entertained by. West Side Story is like a new skin on Romeo and Juliet, and I think it's done pretty well. So West Side Story. Oh, I need another drink of water. Blue Bayou. This is what the hell is the word I'm looking for? Not eviction. It's what the fuck? Why can't I think of the word? It's like it's a deportation movie. My God, I can't believe I took that long to remember that fucking word. It's a drama. It's pretty melodramatic. It's written and directed and starring Justin Chon. I thought it was a good film. It didn't blow me away. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's a good drama. Good drama that came out this summer. Mass is a film that I saw at Sundance, and then I saw it again in October, and liked it a little less when I saw it in October, or maybe it was November, I can't remember which, because it came out theatrically in October or November. And there were a couple things I noticed about it the second time that I wish it would have done differently, so I'm going to drop it in B tier. But I think that Mass is a really important film in that the main subject of the film is surrounds a school shooting, and it's a film that gives you two very different perspectives. One of the parents of the victim or a victim in a mass shooting, and then the other perspective is of the parents whose child committed the crime, the act of terrorism. And it's a really interesting film in how you really kind of gain an understanding for both sides of the equation in this situation. And it's a film that I think a lot of people would benefit from watching. I think it's a really important film. And it could have done a couple of things differently, a couple of editing choices I didn't like. But the overall point of the film, I think, is very strong. And I think it should be seen by all. President. I think this came out, it's a documentary. I think it came out wide on like HBO, or it's available for streaming somewhere right now. But I saw it at Sundance, and I can't remember which African country it takes place in. It's been almost a year since I watched it. But it is a pretty great documentary about a rigged election, and an election that was actually rigged, I may add. And it's just a film that does a really great job of documenting this man's entire campaign, the popularity that he grew throughout the year leading up to the election, the voting day. And it was just a really interesting, compelling documentary, and it's another film that I think would be valuable for people to see, especially being a documentary subject. I think a lot of documentaries, there's always a lot you can take from them, and President is definitely a very strong one, putting it in the B tier. House of Gucci, I wrote a pretty scathing review of this film on Letterboxd. It's going to the D tier. The only thing I like about this film is the cast. Like, I enjoyed watching everybody perform in this movie. Whether or not their performances were good, I like seeing Adam Driver. Jared Leto as this fat guy. I like that too, I guess. Al Pacino, Lady Gaga, and I think the best of them was Jeremy Irons, who plays the smallest role. But yeah, it's just a film that I felt lacked style. It was just bloated. It was over 2.5 hours long. They could have easily cut 30 minutes out. It could have been a 2-hour flat film and it would have been just fine. There's so much useless shit in it. And the design, like just the sets and everything are just so drab. It's an ugly, boring looking movie. And I didn't like it. I wish I would have seen The Last Duel, the other Ridley Scott film of the year. I didn't get to catch that one. It left theaters too quickly. I feel like I probably would have liked that film more. I think most people did. But this just was not good in my opinion. So yeah, House of Gucci, D tier. Going back to the water, and I'm gonna reposition myself. Oh man, I feel like my abs are getting a workout the way I'm like sitting and using my windpipes here. I feel like, I don't know, I'm getting a little sore down here. Maybe I'm just really, really out of shape. I don't run, I don't exercise, I don't really walk. I don't do much, so I'm probably just horribly out of shape. Okay, the Lighthouse. The Night House. This film was, I think in the first half, like a really compelling horror thriller. Really strong performance from Rebecca Hall. And just a really good-looking movie, like cinematography and look and feel. I thought just, I don't know, I thought it was really appealing to the eye. Once the film fully reveals itself and reveals exactly what's happening, I didn't really like that. I wish it was left more open-ended, but it sort of gives you the answers as to what takes place throughout the entire film. So that definitely knocked it down a notch for me, but I still recall enjoying watching the film. I thought it had some really fun ideas that were executed well in the first half, and I'm going to put it in the B tier. I did enjoy it. The Sparks Brothers, a documentary that I saw at the beginning of the year, an Edgar Wright film. I reviewed it on the channel, and I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 on that review. And the thing is, it's been a year now, almost, since I watched it. I've listened to, like, a couple of Sparks albums. I only really like Balls at this point. I mean, how can you not like Balls? But I've come to the conclusion that I'm not a Sparks fan. I'm probably not going to be one, and this is a really long documentary, and it does do a really great job of documenting and giving you like a pretty much seamless timeline of the Sparks Brothers' career as a band and as a pair of brothers. But for me, it was like just so excessive, so long. Just completely, like, I was so worn out by the end of it, and I was sick of the Sparks after watching this film. I'm gonna put it in D tier. Technically, it is a well-made documentary. It's exciting. It has Edgar Wright type editing. It's not like an atrociously boring film to watch, but it just wore me the hell out, and I never want to watch it again. So it's going in the D tier. Sorry if I offended the Sparks fans out there. I know that there is a small group of you, but that group is very loud and powerful. So yeah, sorry, Sparks Brothers, but it just was not for me. John in the Hole, another film that I saw at Sundance. It has a good cast, Michael C. Hall and Vera Farmiga's niece. I don't remember her name. And then I can't remember who else was in it. It was a sort of like suspense, weird family drama. It was an enjoyable watch. It had some weird, it had like weird, not flashbacks, but it would cut to a completely unrelated event a couple times, and I found those moments to be really cringy and weird, and I didn't understand the point. It's a weird movie that I felt didn't leave me with much to think about, but I enjoyed watching it with my friends. We made some good jokes. And they enjoyed it. They enjoyed the movie, I think, more from a critical standpoint. I think they liked it more than I did. I'm gonna put it in C tier. I like it, but I don't love it. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. And my camera is flashing at me. It's dying. So we're going to take a break, but, well, you all won't have to. I have to take a break, but you are going to see me again in like 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back, everyone. For me, it's been like 45 minutes, but for you, it's been less than 45 seconds. We do have another slight issue now. I'm going to look at this for a second. My microphone, voice recorder, whatever you want to call it, is also running kind of low on batteries, and that's not just a simple plug-in charge. It's like physically needs new AAA batteries when it goes dead. It's not dead yet, but I do need to speed this up a little bit because I haven't gotten much done yet. I thought I had more done. So let's keep moving. I wanted to keep this chill, and I am going to keep it chill, but I do need to pick up the pace a tiny bit. Titane, a French film that won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, the director of Raw. I had pretty high expectations for this movie, and it is actually like things I've seen before. It's like pieces of things I've seen before, but combined together, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Really strong characters. I loved the characters in it. It does a lot of weird stuff. I need more time to sit with it, and I need to watch it again, but I'm going to put it in B tier. I wasn't in love with it. I don't even know what my issues were. It just, I don't know. It's hard to get used to that film. The French Dispatch, I wrote a little review on this film on Letterboxd. I pretty much feel the same way about it now as I did then, so if you want to hear my thoughts on it, or I guess just read my thoughts, check my Letterboxd. Jungle Cruise, the director or the writers or the producers, Disney, took this film and they said, let's make a really fun mummy type adventure movie in the first hour, like Brendan Fraser Mummy. I loved the first part of this film. I was like, this is really exciting. Like, this feels like a classic adventure movie. And then the second half of the movie completely tanks. It's CGI fest. It's boring. It's confusing in just not in just stupid ways. It's just dumb. It just becomes really dumb, really obnoxious, just overblown, too long. I wanted it to end, and it's going into the D tier. If this movie would have stuck to its guns, the ones that it had in the first half, it could have gone to B tier, like more likely in C tier, but that second half just fucking sucked. It was terrible. In the same breath, this is a documentary film that I saw at Sundance. It is now on HBO. I already feel like I'm talking a lot faster and a lot louder. I need to chill. I'm gonna eat a grape. This has been a pretty bad batch of grapes. Probably the worst batch of grapes I've bought in the year 2021. What a way to end the year. In the same breath, it's a COVID film. It's a film that has a lot of incredibly raw footage from within hospitals in Wuhan at the beginning of the pandemic, like January of 2021, even January of 2020, and even like New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, moving into 2020. Really, really interesting documentary that just shows how flawed the entire handling was from not just the Chinese government, but it also takes a look at the United States and how they did a lot of very similar things as far as leadership and decision making that China did. And it's a really interesting film. I would like to watch it again. I could put it in A tier. Like, it was the first film we watched at Sundance, and it was quite a way to start. I'll leave it in B tier, but it's a really good film. It's from the director of One Child Nation, which is another pretty popular recent China documentary that I haven't seen, and I hear it's just completely depressing and horrible and really hard to watch. But yeah, good film. Matrix Revolutions, or what is it called? Sorry, Resurrections. The Matrix Resurrections. I watched The Matrix 1 last week as well as the second one, and I was supposed to watch the third one with my friend, but I was like, I don't even care anymore, because the second film just didn't do it for me. I don't see the appeal in the Matrix sequels. I think the first film has I think it deserves a lot of the respect and acknowledgement that it's received throughout the years. Like I think it's a really exciting and compelling action sci-fi film that has really interesting thematic elements as well. I think it's actually a really great film. I love what it does with the internet. I think it's really interesting. But the sequels, you'd expect it to continue the intrigue and to, there's so much you could do with the Matrix, but I didn't really see what they were doing with the second film. I didn't care to even watch the third one. And this film had some interesting things going for it, but again, I was just like, I don't see the appeal in this. I did fall asleep for like 5 minutes in the theater when Jada Pinkett came on screen. Nothing against her, but that's just the moment I happened to close my eyes for a bit. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know, C tier. I'll quit talking about it. Small engine repair. This movie was super under the radar. I'm surprised I even saw it. I saw it while I was in Illinois back in September, just because I wanted to see a movie, and there really wasn't much to choose from. And I picked this, and I liked it. It has John Bernthal in it, Shea Wingham. Is that how you say his name? It's an interesting little suspense movie. Family, kind of like a family drama, friendship drama, suspense movie. It's interesting. I'd put it in B tier. I liked watching it. What is this called again? Coming Home in the Dark. This was a Sundance film that I saw out of New Zealand. It's a really dark and gritty, suspense thriller, that is an interesting film. I enjoyed watching it. There are a lot of there's one really unexpected thing that happens in the beginning of this film, and I liked it, so I'd put it in the B tier. I'm gonna finish chewing this grape now. Do you guys like grapes? This past year, I found that I really, really like grapes. Like, I didn't normally buy them myself as an adult, like when my mom would buy them as a kid. Like, I liked eating grapes, but I never really bought them for myself, but I have been this year, and I've been loving it. They're one of my favorite fruits now. Green grapes. I don't usually buy like the red or purple ones. Grapes are good. I love them. Apples too. Okay. Moving on to The Card Counter, Paul Schrader's newest film. I'm gonna put it in B tier. I actually saw this film the same day as Small Engine Repair. I saw a double feature in Illinois. The Card Counter was a film I was really excited for, and I feel like it could have gone a little bit further. It was exploring a couple of different themes, and I really could not get a gauge as to how Oscar Isaac's character was reflecting, interpreting, and dealing with everything going on around him. He was a very secretive character, and I thought it was a compelling film from pretty much start to finish. It's similar to First Reformed, but I think that film visually is far superior. Narratively, it's better. It's like First Reformed, but just not as, I don't know, I don't think expertly handled from Paul Schrader this time around. So yeah, The Card Counter in B tier. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I'm just gonna blame the devil and say that he made me watch this movie. I hated The Devil Made Me Do It. I don't care about the Conjuring universe at all. I thought this film was completely awful, corny, boring, mindless, pointless, and besides the fact, so when I went to see this movie, a couple of friends and I got very drunk at Red Robin. We had some beers, and then for the hell of it, we took tequila shots on our way out, and then we walked to the movie theater and watched this movie in the Big D, in the old rundown AMC theater in my area. And I hated it. I thought it was a bad movie. I had fun. It was a fun day, but I thought the movie was terrible. I wasn't excited for it going in. I was like, the only way I'm going to see this movie is if I'm hammered, and I was, and it didn't make it any better. So yeah, The Devil Made Me Do It, not my cup of tea. The Power of the Dog is going to go to A tier. This is directed by Jane, is it Campion? I always thought it was Champion, but then I noticed there's not an H in her last name. She's done a lot of like really renowned films, I guess. I have not seen any of them. And this was a great Western, really, really powerful drama Western film. Benedict Cumberbatch at first, or is it Bach? I don't even know how to say his name. At first, his accent, his like cowboy accent, wasn't really doing it for me, but I feel like I just sort of grew used to his character throughout. I thought Kirsten Dunst was a major standout in this. It's been a long time since I've seen her. I guess I did like her in The Beguiled, the Sofia Coppola film. I forgot she was in that. I thought she was really good in that too. Yeah, really interesting Western that went down a path that I didn't expect to happen. I thought it was like a consistently entertaining and interesting film throughout. Violation was a film I saw at Sundance. It did technically come out in 2020, but really didn't get much of a release until this year. I think Shudder has it. It was one of the most like depraved, disturbing things I felt I had ever watched the night that I watched it during the Sundance time of 2021. I'd put it in B tier. It's a really fucked up movie that deals with really serious issues, and the way it deals with it is really intense and extreme and bizarre, and yeah, it's a strange one. It was a really gross movie. Nightmare Alley. I just wrote a review for this one on Letterboxd. You can check out my words on it there. I'm going to put it in A tier. Bradley Cooper, I don't think has ever been better. I actually loved his performance as, is his name Stanton Carlisle? Was that his name? That sounds right, but that might be incorrect. I just felt that there was so much hidden behind his eyes in this film, and his sort of his confidence in things, and he was almost a little bit too naive about things. It was just his character was just incredibly interesting, and I felt like Bradley Cooper embodied the character just so well. I don't usually really enjoy Bradley Cooper and stuff. I usually think, yeah, he's fine, he's a good actor. But this is a film of his that I think it left an impression on me. And Guillermo del Toro, from a set and design standpoint, this film I think was just perfect for him, being set in the world of carnivals in the 1930s. Just a really epic tale too. It's a really long film, and it tells a very large story over quite a span of time, and I just felt so at home with this film. I really loved the world that I was in while watching it. So that is Nightmare Alley. I'm going to take a sip of water for this next one here. Oh. It's not normal that I get the opportunity to talk about like wide release, like brand new films on the channel. I've mostly been sticking to like Blu-ray stuff and older films and like Criterion Collection films for a number of years now. So it's cool being able to talk about like the normal new stuff that's coming out. Eternals, the third of four Marvel movies of the year. This film received a lot of flack. It's like the lowest rated Marvel movie of them all on most major websites, I think, or at least it's one of the lowest rated. I actually really liked this film. I thought it was touching and beautiful. I know I sound corny saying that, but it just was a film that felt so effortlessly human. I think Chloe Zhao's direction and the way that she was able to make this film look are like should not be ignored by those who hate on the film. I thought her direction was just incredible. I thought this film looked just amazing. Everything, I don't even know what I can say about Eternals, because I just feel like there is so much animosity towards this movie that I can't even put into words exactly why I liked this film so much, because I don't even know. But I did love each and every character, and you can say that, the movie doesn't give you enough time to develop the characters. I've heard people not like the use of flashbacks, but I felt that the structure of the film worked just fine, and I felt like I got a good piece of knowledge about each and every character, and I just really liked the way that they would cooperate, sometimes not cooperate with one another. They're technically not humans, but their emotions, their views on things, their morals were all very human. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty beautiful film overall. I really liked it. It makes me excited for what we're going to see these characters do next. And yeah, I don't know. It was just like really different. Again, it's no, it's not the longest MCU film, but just the amount of time covered in this film, it just felt so larger than life. And I just really was engrossed by the experience of watching Eternals, and I like all the new characters. I thought it was a great time. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of people hate on that movie, and I've not had the chance to like publicly speak and sort of defend it, but I don't know. I've only seen it once. Maybe I'll like it less on my rewatch, which I will be doing at some point whenever it comes out on 4K. But right now, I feel as if I'm going to be defending Eternals until the day I die. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. That's Eternals. Raya and the Last Dragon is going to go to B tier. I think this was the only Disney animated movie I saw this year. I don't see any of the other ones on here. And I liked it. I don't remember everything about it. I can't even remember. I don't think it's a musical. Are most Disney animated features musicals? I don't even know. Like, I feel like I watch Disney movies, then they go in one year and right out the other. I remember enjoying this. I wrote a little review on Letterboxd. I guess I should refresh myself on what I wrote about it. But I remember liking the movie. So that is Raya. All Light Everywhere. This is a documentary film from Sundance that I think is tremendous. It is a really fascinating look at the use of camera and video from an art perspective, from a security and law enforcement perspective, and it's just the way that it almost, it's not jarring. It seamlessly weaves in and out of these different ideas and uses for film and camera and footage. I'm just throwing out nouns. It's a really interesting documentary that, allows the viewer to see all of the different ways in which images can be manipulated, interpreted, and what we should infer by what we're seeing. And it's just a really, really interesting film that was edited and scored so superbly. Quite an experience. Going in the A tier. There is an opportunity to get it on Blu-ray right now. It was picked up by Neon Pictures. I think that's what they call themselves, Neon Pictures. They put out Parasite. That's like their biggest film, probably. They are doing a Year 5 Blu-ray set, and it also includes films like Pig, Spencer, a couple of other big ones, Titan. But this is one of the other films that is included in this limited box set, and I think it's the only way to get this on Blu-ray. So I pre-ordered it. It's a little bit pricey, but if you're not aware of that set and like any of those films I just rattled off, look into that. It's on their website, the Neon website. So, yeah, that's a pretty amazing film. Spider-Man. I wrote a review of this on Letterboxd, and you can read that. I don't spoil anything. And I said about 15% of what I really wanted to say about this film in that review because I didn't want to spoil anything. And I also just didn't want to spend like a day, or not even a day, like an hour writing my thoughts about this movie because I just didn't want to do that with my time. It's going in the B tier. It could have gone in the C tier. There are a lot of things I really didn't like about it, but there are some incredible highs, as I wrote in my Letterboxd review. I don't know if you'll ever get my full thoughts on this film. My thoughts will probably change as time goes on and if I watch it again, which I probably will at some point. But I thought I was going to love it. I thought I was going to want to see it twice in theaters. But the night I saw it, I was like, oh, that was disappointing. Very disappointing. So I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know. Zola. This film I thought was pretty cool. It reminded me of like a Sean Baker film. And Coleman Domingo in this movie, he's in another movie this year too, Candyman. His performance in this is just terrifying. It is so good. And who was the other guy? There's another kind of like loser pushover character in this film, and he was really funny too. This is a film that doesn't have much story, but it has a lot of style, and I thought the characters were all like, it was a kind of weird group of misfits and people who didn't really want to be together, and it was a fun film. I'm going to put it in B tier. Prisoners of the Ghostland, the new Shion Sono film with Nick Cage in it. This film should have been a lot better. I reviewed it on the channel. I'm going to put it in the C tier. I wouldn't put it in D tier. I think C is perfect for it, at least as far as my taste goes. 9 Days was a film that I think I wish it would have. I don't know. I just didn't fully connect with it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it had some very beautiful moments, but I didn't like love it. I wasn't completely enamored with it. So I'm gonna put it in the B tier. And we're reaching the 20-minute mark on my camera, so I'm gonna reboot here. So give me a moment. Okay, we don't have too much left. Let's see if I can get through all of this before I have to reset the camera again. I wish it didn't have to be so tedious. But I'm hoping that you're all enjoying this video. I know it's kind of different from what I normally do, but I'm having fun just talking about this stuff. And I'm excited that I don't have to spend the entire weekend editing this. Yeah, let me know what you think of this format, and if you enjoy just hearing me mumble and ramble and just roll through things without doing too much editing, because yeah, I mean, this is quick, it's easy, I'm having fun, and it's a way to get my word out without having to spend like 20 hours editing a video. So okay, what is this called? This is the Purge Patriots Day. I don't even remember what it was called. It was kind of funny, kind of like entertaining, really dumb. It's weird. The Purge movies are like modern day exploitation films. I noticed that, like mainstream exploitation films. The stuff they cover in this film, I was like, wow, this is like kind of edgy. This is pretty exploitative. I thought that was the most interesting thing I got from that movie. Old, the newest M. Night Shyamalan film. It was entertaining. It was not boring, really. I never was like, fuck, I want this to be over with. I enjoyed it, but it's pretty dumb. Performances are mostly pretty bad. Alma from Phantom Thread is in it, and Gael Garcia Bernal. So I liked the cast. I thought every, like, character was enjoyable, but, I mean, it was just, like, a goofy M. Night movie with a twist and an ending that's just kind of maybe not what you would expect, but it's something you would expect him to write, I guess. Bulgaria, or Dad, I'm Sorry. I don't know if I even pronounced that correctly. This is a Vietnamese film, and I saw it with Nancy and my friend JJ, and it was not good. Nancy is Vietnamese, so she wanted to see this film, and I said, okay, I'll go see it. And it was not good. It was super manipulative, not really funny. But I mean, I'm not putting it in F tier because there were some parts that I thought were funny, and it was mostly because of the editing and special effects being used. But it was so long. Oh my god, how long was it? It was over 2 hours. It was way longer than it needed to be. And it was like a really frustrating and kind of annoying film viewing experience. I mean, the theater was fine. It's just the movie was kind of annoying to me. Yeah. Black Widow. This is going in C tier. My least favorite of the Marvel movies this year. It just felt pointless and generic. And I think this film was supposed to come out originally like almost 1 year after Endgame. And even at that point, in like April or May of 2020, this film still would have felt really irrelevant. And it felt like extremely irrelevant in 2021 because this character has been dead for a while. It takes place before Endgame. And it just, it's trying to deal with heavy themes, and it does it to some positive effect, but it just, like, I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me. It just felt kind of pointless. And there was also this, like, hysterectomy joke in the movie that I was like, why are they... I felt like making the joke they made about hysterectomies in this just went against what the film was trying to say, and it felt so out of place and inappropriate. And I was like, why are they making this, like, why are they turning this subject matter into a joke? Like, it's not funny, and like the film is trying to tell us things like this aren't funny, but yet they're making this comedic light moment out of a forced hysterectomy. I just thought that was really weird and not, I don't know, not appropriate for the film. So yeah, Black Widow, that's like honestly the thing that I think about most when I think about that film, is that scene and how weird that was. The Green Knight, I need to rewatch this one. I enjoyed it, like from a visual standpoint. This is like one of the most like faithful, like fairy tale fable adaptations like I feel like I've ever seen. It is a complete, I just burped. It's a completely authentic looking film. It's like the way that I would imagine like folklore to actually be like. It's pretty incredible what David Lowery did with this film. As far as the journey goes of the main character, I felt a little bit mixed about it. Maybe I'll feel stronger if I rewatch it, but it's sticking in the B tier for now. Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos movie, going in the C tier. I'm not a Sopranos viewer. I don't have anything against the show. I've just never watched it. I saw this film with a bunch of friends, people who had seen the show. They didn't really like it very much, and from my point of view, it was just like a standard gangster drama movie that was okay. I didn't feel connected to it because I didn't know the characters, which was kind of difficult. So it's going into the C tier. Okay, if I've learned anything from this, it's that I need to invest in more spare batteries in general for my camera. I only have the one, and I stopped filming just now because it started blinking again like it was going to die. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna not stop anymore, and if the camera dies while I'm talking about these movies, then I'll just put in like a stationary still image of myself for the remainder of the video if it dies again. Because I was like, ah, man, I don't want to, it's like already late, and I didn't want to keep stopping and starting, and I just want to get through these, but I look at them and I'm like, I don't want to rush what I want to say about these movies. So we're gonna keep being chill for now. But yeah, just heads up, I might have to like put in a picture of myself at some point at the end of this video. Okay, No Time to Die, 007, delayed forever. James Bond is a series that I have not watched the older films in so long, but as a 5-year-old, I watched GoldenEye for the first time, and I fell in love with James Bond. I got 007 Nightfire and a PS2 for Christmas that year, 2002, and as like an elementary school kid, middle school, I loved James Bond. Casino Royale was a game changer. I was obsessed with that movie. I saw it once with my mom, once with my dad in theaters. And so the whole Daniel Craig arc is something that I've enjoyed watching as he's gotten older and I've gotten older. I'm going to put this in S tier, not based off of solely the technical merit of the film, which I think it is a very well-made film, but it's almost the nostalgic value I get from it. I lost my train of thought because I think I forgot to clap before I started filming to sync the audio, but whatever. I saw this in IMAX, and just the spectacle of seeing a movie of this grand natural scale. I was so refreshed by the natural and on-location filming. It is a gorgeous movie. Nothing about it looks fake. Everything just looks so real. It is such a real looking movie, and I was so in love with the design, the production design and feel of this film. I loved that it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes or whatever. When Bond finally got to London, I didn't check my watch, but I knew, I was like, this movie's like not even half over, and I'm loving it. I'm so glad there's still so much more left, because I was so in love with the feel, the mood of this film, and the I don't know, just the way, the excitement that I felt watching everything unfold. I thought it was so exciting. I loved every locale. There was always a new flavor in every place they went, and I just loved watching this movie. I wrote a review on Letterboxd. You can read it. I don't say too much in it. I probably said more just now, but based on just the theater experience and how much I personally enjoyed this movie, it's going in the S tier for this year. I will say that I don't feel great about the ending of the film, and the last line of the film is incredibly cheesy, and they should not have ended the movie the way they did, but they did. And yeah, I don't know, No Time to Die. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Luzu, or Luzu, I can't remember how this is pronounced. This is a drama from Sundance. It was from, I think, it's from a small European island. Is it from Malta? I can't remember where this film is from. I didn't love it. I just felt like it was kind of a predictable, character drama that just felt like too similar to other things I had seen before. I'm gonna drop it in C tier. It could go into B because it's like a good film, but I just didn't like resonate with it too much. Wild Indian, another Sundance film. This one really just I don't know. I just didn't connect with it. It's one of I think the least interesting films that I watched from the entire festival. It's a sort of revenge story that I don't think felt very earned. I'm gonna give it a D. Put it in the D tier. It just wasn't a very like poignant and memorable experience for me. And the same goes for Lamb. Lamb could go into C tier. What else is in D tier? Okay, I'll put Lamb in C tier, actually. Compared to everything else, I do like Lamb more than all of these, and it does fit better in here. Lamb was that A24 movie that came out this year with Noomi Rapace in it. It's the sheep. She has like a sheep child, and the trailers made it look really quirky and sort of dark, and it looked like an A24 movie, right? And I feel like the film was able to get itself into these really awkward, intense situations and confrontations, but I felt like it didn't do anything with those opportunities that it set up for itself, and it ended up being just a kind of a slog, just a slow, just kind of like passive, not very poignant experience for me. I don't know if I'd even want to rewatch it. The location is nice. There's some very pretty cinematography of mountains and landscapes. But yeah, the movie just didn't leave me with much at the end. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Lamb. Spiral, the newest Saw movie. I was very excited for this, especially during its and during production. I thought the idea of Chris Rock producing and starring and like Samuel L. Jackson in like a Saw reboot sounded really interesting. I thought they were going to bring some legitimacy back into the franchise, but it ended up just being another Saw movie with them in it, and it wasn't very intelligent. It was just a Saw movie, which is okay. It could go either C or B. Like, I actually enjoyed watching it. I was like, this is fun. It's like kind of like a novel thing seeing a new Saw movie in theaters again. It was gross. It's some of the dialogue though. Some of the like, there's like a Forrest Gump joke that it was referencing way too much in pop culture. I remember that. There were so many things Chris Rock said. He'd make references to things that are like really old at this point, like just not talked about in the sphere of I don't know, society and the culture of what the fuck am I even trying to say? The culture right now. It'd be like who's like popular. Like let's just say Billie Eilish. It'd be like if they were making Billie Eilish jokes in this movie or something, or just referencing her in this movie. But instead of referencing someone who's actually current right now, they were referencing things from like 5 years ago and 10 years ago. It felt very out of touch, and it felt like it was a movie that was written in 2010. I'll put it in B tier just because I had a fun time watching it. I would rewatch it. It's Saw. I like a good nasty Saw movie. Space Jam: A New Legacy would go into F tier, but they made a reference to Chungus, so it goes into the D tier. I was very happy and just surprised by that. I think I saw this movie. It was a double feature day. I saw Space Jam and then I saw Pig. And it's very clear which one I liked more. Sabaya, this was a documentary that I watched at Sundance. This would have been much better as a documentary short than a feature film. The content and subject matter of this is very serious. It's disgusting, and it's something that like people should be aware of. The film itself, as like I think it must be like 90 minutes if I can remember correctly. It just wasn't narratively very captivating. Like I said, I think it would have been better as a short. I'm gonna put it in a C tier, as far as it's just my enjoyment of it, and I think its quality as a film. But the subject matter is important, and you should definitely look into it. Last Night in Soho, another Edgar Wright film. 2 films from him this year, both of which I found to be, well, I guess I wasn't anticipating Sparks Brothers, so I couldn't call it a disappointment, but I can call The Last Night in Soho a disappointment. Yeah, it's gonna go in the C tier. Just, I don't know, I wrote a little bit on Letterboxd, and I'm pretty much gonna say, I think what I said in that review is that I thought that this was gonna be far more Giallo influenced stylistically. It kind of is narratively, but I don't know. I knew Edgar Wright was someone who like loved and adores the era of 70s Italian giallos and just European crime films in general. But I felt like stylistically this film did not follow in those films' footsteps. There was an over-reliant use of CGI that took me out of it. A lot of the horror sequences or monsters, whatever you would call the things that happen in this film, just felt so fake, and I didn't feel any tension. I loved the characters. Thomas and Mackenzie's performance was just outstanding. I loved her. I loved the issues she was going through and her ways of dealing with those things. I just thought she was a very understandable and lovable character, as well as other side characters. But the horror aspects of this movie, it just fell flat for me. And when it's supposed to be a suspense horror film, that needs to be a focus, and it needs to be done well. And I just did not get that from this movie. So yeah, Last Night in Soho in the C tier. Impressed me in ways I wasn't expecting, but seriously disappointed me in ways that I was expecting greatness. So the Suicide Squad gets to the B tier. I hated the 2016 one. It's still in my mind is one of those films that I would say it's like one of the worst things I've ever seen. I never want to look at that garbage again. It was such a deplorable and unenjoyable film experience. James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, he did very well with that source material, and I think that he breathes really like new life into this series. I expected him to make this a lot better than the 2016 film, which he did. He succeeded in that. I'm still not like a huge fan of the humor in the Suicide Squad. It's very like in your face and like WTF, and it's just kind of obnoxious to me in some ways. But the action is really well done. It's just a much more cohesive film. It has good character arcs, and yeah, Suicide Squad in the B tier. I don't love that film. It's not an A or S, but it is a good film. Get a fucking trash cut! Knocking. You see that, JJ? Thomas, Peter? Knocking. I did not really like this film. It was a suspense thriller film, a sort of like psychological paranoia film about a woman who spends too much time in her apartment, and I just found it to be kind of exhausting and just not very interesting, and I'm going to put it in the D tier. Maybe if I rewatched it in different circumstances, I would enjoy it more. It just came out on Blu-ray through a Vinegar Syndrome partner label, and I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, wow, Knocking. I remember that. I didn't like it. I wish they would have put a different movie I watched at the festival in a partner label. But yeah, Knocking, I didn't really love it. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. C tier, I watched this, and it was harmless. I like the Resident Evil video games. It seemed pretty faithful as far as production design and like costuming costuming. More so just the locations were pretty faithful to the video games. I don't know, it's dumb. It went kind of under the radar. It was, I don't know, it was harmless action zombie thing. Nancy and I saw it together on like around Thanksgiving, and yeah, it was fine. Licorice Pizza, A. New Paul Thomas Anderson. Probably not like the most like personally affecting film of his. For me, it's not one that I think I'll even consider to be like a personal favorite of mine of his filmography, but it is a really great 70s, like, would you call it a period piece? It's like a sort of romantic coming of age comedy. It's Paul Thomas Anderson. It's just a really well done film with a great ensemble of characters who come in and out of the fold. And my favorite things about it are Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman. They both were fantastic, especially for being pretty much first time actors. I don't think Alana's been in other films. I don't think, but I am very, very happy by Cooper Hoffman's performance and just the, I don't know, the amount of praise that he's getting, and just his, where he, as a person, as a human, where he is in the grand scheme of things of this film. Because Philip Seymour Hoffman, his father, passed away in 2014. He was who I considered to be my favorite actor at that time, and I was shocked and just completely saddened when he passed suddenly in 2014. I didn't know he had a son, and it's really, really sort of heartwarming and charming to see that Paul Thomas Anderson, frequent collaborator with his father, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I feel like I'm rambling like a crazy man. It was very nice to see Paul Thomas Anderson take Cooper Hoffman under his wing and give him this role, and let him, sort of step into his father's shoes, I guess. So that's what I loved most about this film. I'm very excited for Cooper and what he's going to do in the future if he chooses to do more acting, because I thought he was wonderful here, and it made me very happy. And the last movie, Red Rocket. Sean Baker's newest movie. I hated it. It sucked. F tier. Just kidding. Red Rocket, I just watched the same day as Matrix. I watched Red Rocket, and then I watched Matrix. And for now, I am going to put Red Rocket in the S tier. This might be my favorite movie of the year. It was just so real, so down to earth, so raw. Simon Rex as an actor, I've seen him in the Scary Movie movies, but I had never seen him in a dramatic role. I don't know how many dramatic, serious roles he's done before, but he was absolutely just fucking fantastic in this movie. I don't know how much of his true self he brought into this role, because I don't really know what he's like in other films and what he's like as a person, but he felt like Mikey Saber. Like, it wasn't an actor Simon Rex. Like, he felt like this washed up porn star who was just wrecking everybody's lives around him. And it was a very awkward, uncomfortable, depressing film. The trailers make it look like a comedy. I figured it wouldn't be, knowing Sean Baker's work. He usually makes very honest and truthful films about people and characters in tough situations. Some of those characters are positive lights in darkness, and some of those characters are just tornado maniacs that destroy everything in their wake. And Simon Rex as Mikey Saber is one of those characters. And it was just a film that I was so just, I felt so involved with it. I loved the setting. I loved all of the non-actors. At least I assume they're non-actors. A lot of people with only one credit that Sean Baker pulled in. I know the film crew for this was really small, and it just felt like such a close and personal portrait. And I don't know where Sean Baker got the idea to write about a character like this, but I'm glad it came to him, because it was just such an interesting perspective. So Red Rocket, really wonderful film. I would highly recommend you all check it out. And yeah, that's my tier list. I don't think I want to move anything around. I'm honestly mentally exhausted right now after starting and stopping this so many times. So I do kind of want to end it here. But please, please let me know down below, what are some of your favorite films of 2021? What are some films that it looks like I missed out on? I know I didn't see Spencer, Drive My Car. I still have to see The Tragedy of Macbeth. And then probably a myriad of other films that I don't even know of at this point in time. So please let me know what you liked down below. Do you agree with me? If you want to fight me about anything, like if I need to defend Eternals, I will do my best to do so if you have a rebuttal to my claim. And I don't know, I just know Eternals is, like, to me, like the hot take in this list, because I just feel so alone in how much I enjoyed that movie. But yeah, that's everything. I want to thank you all so much for continuing to watch my stupid, weird videos throughout the year of 2021, subscribing to the channel, liking them, commenting and creating discussions in the comments, just being here and watching these videos, and just being a part of my life. Honestly, it's so strange to think of like how many people I've had small conversations or long conversations with on this platform and on other platforms like Letterboxd. I don't know, it's just really a strange but nice feeling, a nice thought. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I hope you all had a great 2021. I will see you full swing in 2022. I'll talk to you later. I hope you're all doing amazing, and I'm just going to end it here. I keep saying random things that I want to say, and I'm going to stop here. So thanks everyone for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.